Hi everyone, it's Andrea Bailey Brown at Bailey Brown Business Consulting, and I just wanted to talk to you today about my own business and basically do a case study on that business. One of the questions I get asked a lot is, how did I get into owning multiple franchises with Jiffy Lube? And I'm just going to answer that because it comes up time and time again, because I understand it's an industry where there's not lots of women in that market. And basically I got into that business because my husband and I were looking for a business to purchase, and we wanted something that aligned with his skills and something that he loved, which was cars. And we took that and we blended it with my business background and business skills, and of course he has been in business before, and we felt that Jiffy Lube would be a good fit for us. And when we took over those stores, they were already existing locations except for one, and we've owned up to 5 different locations. And we've turned those stores into 8-figure businesses where revenues have totaled over $20 million. And the reason for that was we were actually purposeful about it and intentional. And I've developed something that I'm now looking at, which is purposeful profit. I really think you have to be intentional about your business and the profit that you intend to make from it. In those business, now that we're there, we found that our corporate office has actually used our locations as training for new franchise owners that are coming in. So what are some of the things, what I wanted to talk about today is, in all of those stores, we've been able to double the revenues in them and multiply our profits. And how have we done that? And as I said before, we really looked at the business on a whole. So the first thing I would say that we did was we learned more about the industry that we're in and what was possible for that industry, and if there are opportunities where we could actually move the needle on the numbers. And that was the first thing we did before we made the decision to actually make that purchase, is looking to see, is there any room for growth in those business? And we felt that doing some of the right things at the right time, we could really have an impact and make some changes in that. So the first thing that we looked at was our partnership. So I believe there's 6 pillars to a profitable business, and the first one I think is your partnership. So we really looked at the team that was already in place once we took over. So when you're taking over an existing location, there are certain things that's already set up and that you have to inherit with the purchase, and one of that is a team that was there. So once we got in there, we started to interview and find out why they're there, and also if their vision and mission aligned with ours. And some of the guys, absolutely, their vision and mission didn't. So we slowly started to decide who would stay and who would go. And in doing that, we created a new culture in our business, and was able to start by looking at the profitability through the team that we have. So when I'm now working with business owners to look at their business and what we would change, who stays, who goes, that's one of the first thing I also look at, is the partnership and the team that they actually have in place, and finding out what is their mindset. What do they believe about the business? Do they think there's not much can happen? Are they judgmental about the customers that come in? If someone comes in a fancy vehicle, do they get better treatment than someone that comes in a vehicle that may be 15 years old? So we had to really change that, where they started to looking at people like everyone is the same, no matter what vehicle they drive. The next thing that we looked at was the products and services that were being offered. In every business, there is a revenue stream where certain products and services will be helping you, and there's certain things that needs to be eliminated, and perhaps your customers are asking for certain things over and over again that you don't have. Are you able to implement it? And depending the business that you're in a franchise setting, sometimes certain things are allowed where you can have your own impact in it, and there are other ones where you basically have to follow everything, or some franchises are looking for impact from those that are in the field, because you've been there long enough and you're working the business day to day, you can actually see some of the differences. So looking at our products and services, we started to make some changes there, and we started to see our revenues were actually improving. The next thing we looked at was positioning, and positioning is so important because it's what your brand is known for and the niche that you have. So how are you positioning your business, and what is your brand also known for? And branding is so much more than just a logo. I know so many people believe that, so we really had to take that into consideration, and that I found was very helpful for us in making some of the changes that we made in the business. We also wanted to improve our customer experience. What is our customer feeling like? What was their feedback? How do they feel about coming into our location? Did they love being there? Did they hate it? So we had to make sure it was cleaned up, and one of the compliments that we got time to time from some of the customers was how clean our store was, because I think in the lube business it's not expected that you would have that much of a clean store. So we really took a lot of pride in how clean our store actually was. Now, the perspective of the CEO is a really big one in growing your profit. I found that our perspective and what was our mindset, we were the leaders in this business. So with that, we realized that we were going to set the tone as to how the customers were treated. We were going to grow this business and change the numbers and serve our customers to the best of our abilities. And we were going to have high integrity. And we put all of that on the line. And regardless of who wanted to stay with us, who wanted to leave, so be it. And in creating that, we found that our customers were really enjoying our location. And we noticed again, with the good service that we were giving them, making recommendations and just being totally honest in the business, our sales just started to increase and our numbers were going up because we were focused on the right things, which were the people first in the business. Of course, we had to include another portion. We did look at our location. What impact did our location have? Was it easier or harder for people to get into? Because there's some locations where there's only one way, and that, of course, you cannot change. And how many bays our store had, we had to accept some of that. But it gave us some guidelines as to what we really needed to work on in our business. And every business needs some sort of help and promotion because there's competition in every market, no matter what business you're doing. So we had to make sure that we were standing out in terms of our visibility and making sure that people knew where to find us and how to find us. So we were being more intentional in our advertising campaign and putting the word out that we were actually there, and really, as I said, becoming more visible in the marketplace. So one of the things, again, in working with business owners to grow their revenues and multiply their profits, I'm finding that we really have to look at what sort of promotions or marketing, what avenues are you in, because not everything is created equally for the business that you're in. But in the lube industry, people like the coupons and the mail out, and also we realized that building a social presence was very important, and we were one of the first in the company to actually decide to have a social presence through we started through Facebook, and it was unheard of, and everyone was like, what are you guys doing? But we realized from my research while I was working on my MBA that it was so important that we actually, the social side of things is where things were growing, and I wanted to make sure that our company was there. And we found our customers were happy. They were actually talking to us, asking us questions. They would tell us, hey, I'm driving a Volvo. They'd tell us the year. What kind of oil do I need? How much does it cost? So we're having conversations with people that typically we weren't able to have a conversation with. So those are some of the things that I did and that we did to actually grow the revenues in our business. But the first thing is to be purposeful about your profit, going in there with an intention that you are interested in growth, but not at the expense of your customers. And quickly going in and raising prices is not necessarily the first thing to do, because your customers are saying, hey, I used to pay $100, $120. So you have to be really careful with that, making sure that you're giving and offering good services to them. And when they came in, or we improved our customer experience, offering them the paper, making sure they were getting water. In some cases in the winter time, do they need coffee or tea? Getting a machine in that would be really quick to do something like that. So that's basically how I built it, how we grew our revenues to over 8 figures, over $20 million in revenues. And it was purely by looking at the business, diagnosing it, and seeing what areas there were for growth possibilities. Now, if you're interested in multiplying your profits and growing, doubling your revenues, we would love to help you here at Bailey Brown Business Consulting. That's what we really love to do, is to change the numbers for you and helping you to have financial independence through your business, so that your business is actually helping you, helping your family, and helping your community, and doing more for all the causes and things that you believe in. Now, I will be back again tomorrow for another Summer of Profit series. I'm really enjoying these, and we'll have a little bit more on some of the case studies. So great to be here. And if you're listening, drop me a comment if you have any questions, and be happy to answer them. Have a great day. Bye-bye.